Ostland is a novel, but it's about a true story. And it's the story of a man called Georg Heuser, who was a very brilliant young detective who was given a stellar position as the assistant to the head of the Berlin murder squad. So he was marked out as the bright young thing, coming man in the Berlin force. And this was at a time when they were trying to track down a man called the S-Bahn killer, who was a serial killer who was raping and murdering women on the S-Bahns, which are the local railways in Berlin. And he was throwing their bodies onto the tracks. And Heuser was instrumental in catching the guy and was in fact the arresting officer. And he had two rewards for this. The first was that he wrote the official report on the case, which marked him down sort of in writing as being a success. And the second was that he got promoted a higher rank, and he was shifted in from the criminal police into the SS. They were all part of the same umbrella organisation. And he was sent to Minsk in the newly occupied Russia to work in the SS there. And at the time that was happening, the decision was being taken separately to make Minsk a killing centre, where Jews would simply be sent in trains from all over Europe, off the train, killed, end of story. No work camps, no concentration, no. They were just there to be killed, like Sobibor or Treblinka. So he gets there and he finds this thing occurring in the months after his arrival. And he becomes actively involved, and he became in real life actively involved in the killing of tens of thousands of Jews, in terms of the planning of it, the command of certain operations, and the actual physical killing, because they were killed by shots to the back of the head. And he became a war criminal and was tried as such eventually. So the book is really about, it's kind of a why done it. How can somebody who is not a psychopath, he was never a member of the Nazi Party, he never showed any anti-Semitic opinions, and yet he did this terrible thing. Why would he do that? And if he could do that, what's to stop any of us doing the same thing? The book really challenges one's preconceptions. Oh, well, I would never have done that. And says, really? You sure about that? This guy did. And it takes you through that process into this heart of darkness, really. At the same time as that, there's a second strand in the book which is told through the eyes of a young and idealistic lawyer working for the German War Crimes Commission, setting up Heuser's trial, and you see through the trial. And she is kind of the voice and the eyes of the reader, because she has all the questions about, well, you know, she wants to know what made him do this, and why aren't we being more savage to him? Look what he's done, and why aren't we, you know, just locking him away and throwing away the key or shooting him? He shot these other people. And so then you go through the whole moral argument about what you do with a killer like this. And but at the end there is a kind of courtroom drama. It starts off with a serial killer drama, it's a detective thriller, and then it becomes this moral and courtroom debate about the nature of evil.